Is the most selfless woman that I've ever known. She, as you know, I was born, but I was adopted, but met Grace when I was 18 years old, and she's been my mom ever since. She was my mom then also. She always had a positive impact on my life. She was always there. She was always my friend also, anytime I needed her. As many of you, she was faced with so many struggles in her life, very many trials and tribulations, but her bravery and her heart of gold and determination, perseverance, with all of these, she overcame everything. Her family always came first, no matter what. She fought so much to ensure all her children were safe and their needs were fully met. She accomplished so much, especially being a wonderful person and a mother. To the end, she always gave so much to her family and those around her. She made so many sacrifices that many cannot even imagine of doing, but her love for her children came first and foremost. She was the most genuine person I have known. She loved her with her whole heart and without any reservations at all. She taught me, there's my French coming out. She taught me so many things, including perseverance, unconditional love, standing up for who I was and believing in me, in trust and forgiveness, and so much more. She also had a sense of humor, and you all know that. To the end, and I don't know if Tammy's going to share that, but anyways, when she was struggling, and it was her last few hours with us, the nurse that came in to take care of her said, "How are you doing, Grace?" She's everybody I can. That is my mother. I stand here proud to say that Grace Dobratz is my mother and will always be. She gave so much of her to her family, her friends, and those around her. She is my hero in my eyes, and I'm sure so many, especially my siblings, Leonard, Tammy, and Robin. Mom, I love you with all my heart and soul. You have been an ongoing inspiration for me. I know in heaven you will give all the angels, especially certain of your siblings and your friends, a run for their money. I know you have everyone laughing and playing tricks on them. I miss you every day, but will always be with me, with Leonard and Tammy, as you are a part of our life. Love you and rest in peace. Now I'll give the microphone to my lovely sister, Tammy.
I'm much shorter.
No.
Who's that? You? I know where you live.
I know where you live.
Okay. I'm going to read and not try and vary from it, okay? Grace Mary Yvonne Lamothe entered the world April 21st, 1937, as the 19th child of 21 of Aristide Lamothe. Her mother, Mary Church, was Papere's second wife. Though a large family without a lot of money, there was plenty of love and laughs. Stories she told of growing up were funny and heartwarming. Mom especially treasured her alone time with Papere, when she would go in the woods with him and help him work, because Papere was doing logging. Mom's eyes always lit up when speaking of the pair, and danced when she told the tales of mischief her and her siblings would get into. I say siblings, but you all know who we're talking about. Most of the troublemaking and funny stories were her and Uncle Romeo and Uncle Paul. They might have gotten in a little trouble. Just a bit, eh, Linda? Mom spent time living with siblings through the years. Doing this, she grew very close to many of her nieces and nephews. Aunt Martha's and Auntie Anne's children especially were very dear to her. Mom had her own children beginning in 1964. She gave birth to a beautiful baby girl, April 6th, and named her Nicole. I gotta wait a second, I can't see. The father of this beautiful girl was not ready for a family, so made a decision to put her up for adoption. And he tricked Mom into putting her up for adoption and signing the papers. Mom was devastated, and this began a lot of years of depression and mental struggles. When she became pregnant with Leonard, there was no way she was letting that happen again. And he never got out of her sight. And that continued for years and years. She always kept track of Len, made sure he was looked after, and he was loved. In 1968, she met my father, Stanley, and soon became Grace Dobratz, as of thanks to Aunt Linda, July 6th, 1968. I had to text her this morning and ask her the date. Thank you.
I was her maid of honor, I should have known that.
I know.
I found it.
And they had 2 children together, myself and my sister Robin. She still struggled with depression, but did everything she could to make her children happy and make them feel safe and loved. In 1979, Robin was diagnosed with a brain tumor, and that made Mom having to spend a lot of time in hospitals and with doctor's appointments and Toronto sick kids. And the guilt she felt because of this was immense. She had no choice but to be with Robin, but she felt like she was abandoning us. This guilt she felt about her firstborn was immense, but she never quit. Somehow, she was able to care for a child with many, many medical problems, in and out of hospitals, and still make Len and I feel like we were the most loved kids in the world. Our family life was not typical, but we never felt unloved or abandoned. In 1982, Mom was reunited with her first child, now named Jeanette. Jeanette had been trying to find her for years through any means possible and thought to place an ad in the local paper. I think it was Auntie Anne that called Mom to tell her that she saw this, and shortly after that, Mom was finally able to hold her, and our family was complete. Mom was still in and out of hospitals with Robin and spent the lion's part of her time caring for her. She still found time to make us feel loved, and eventually, she also found time to make her grandchildren feel the same way. She taught my children unconditional love, and she never judged. Thank goodness or she would have judged me harsh.
She should have.
She should have. The name Grace means God's grace, charm, goodness, and generosity. Mom was the epitome of this. Those lucky enough to cross paths with her felt it right away. Strangers would become friends, Friends would become family. Her love knew no limitations. Jeanette has already thanked all of you for coming and sharing this day with us, but we wanted to also acknowledge a few a little bit more. Aunt Martha, you were so important in making Mom who she was. Forever the big sister, you were always there for her. Uncle Richard, who unfortunately had to leave, he stepped in as a father figure for Mom, giving her away at her wedding, and always protecting her and being there for her. Him and Aunt Lena were just the most amazing people with Mom. Aunt Linda, you and Uncle Romeo always checked in on Mom and made her laugh. She loved spending time with you. Auntie Carm, you were as much a sister to her as anyone. The Voyager will never be the same. Susan, friend that became family. We will never, ever be able to express how grateful we are to you for how much you cared for Mom and Robin while she was in Toronto, and how you just became a part of us.
Guardian angel.
Mm-hmm. And Dot,
Also.
Mom's soul sister. Who you were to Mom is so hard to put into words. You were her healer, her friend, her sister. And all I can say is thank you for being you. I don't know if any of you actually know this, but when Mom was in her last days, we knew she wanted to go, but she couldn't. And we couldn't figure out why. There was something holding her here. We had all said, Mom, it's okay. We'll be okay. You go. And she kept hanging on and hanging on. And I thought, okay, she's spoken with everyone, and I want to thank you all for taking the time to speak with her when you had the chance. And then I texted Dot and I said, I think Mom needs to speak to you. It's either you or Auntie Carmen. She needs to say goodbye to one of you. And fortunately, Dot got back to me and she spoke with Mom and she said, Grace, it's okay. You can go. You go be with Romeo. Go be with Robin. Just go. We'll be okay without you. And you'll always be with us. So thank you, Dot. Dot's also here to say goodbye to Mom in a way that Mom would have cherished. And she's going to say a few words now.
Okay.
Not done, we also have a toast, but I'm going to wait till Dot's done.
Morning, everybody. Hello. Bonjour. My name is Okanekwe Gishnakaz Nipsing Donchiba Megase Dodem Nishnabe Kwendao. That's my spirit name, and it means Rose Woman. And I belong to the Eagle Clan. I reside on Nipsing First Nation, and I'm Ojibwe. And I've been walking the Red Road for 40 years, doing work that has to be done for the next generation. Anyhow, just to explain a little bit about what we're doing here to celebrate Grace. Grace was very interested in the culture. When I had my cafe back in Deschênes with my gas station, Grace would always come. It was on a Tuesday night, and we'd sit in a circle and we'd have circles, and we'd talk about her daughter that had just left and we'd all share our feelings, and then we'd have cedar tea. And it was a form of healing the spirit, you know, the emotions and of letting her daughter go. And so it really helped her to move on. And because it was very hard. I can't even imagine how hard. But anyhow, we became pretty chummy. And we ended up going to the Voyageur, dancing our faces off. And we really had a good time, and I took her to powwows, and she started to learn the culture, and she really enjoyed that way of life because it's a good life.
It was a part of our history that was kept from us.
Yes, yeah, we all had, you know, suppressed our true roots, eh? And when I speak to everybody as we all belong to the human family. You know, it doesn't matter if you're German, French, Ojibwe, doesn't matter. We belong to the human family and we are all related. No one's better, no one's higher, no one's lower. And we always must remember that. But I wanted to say that I do have a little bit of sage here, and I did get some tobacco, which is another one of our, we have 4 sacred medicines: tobacco, cedar, sage, and sweetgrass. And so I'm going to just do a little smudge of Grace's altar. And when we do ceremony, we always have water. That's the responsibility of the women. Women look after water, men look after the fire. And that's the balance. And when we do these ceremonies, I call this a celebration of life. The women wear a long skirt, just to be respectful of that person that we're, you know, honoring. So I have this water here, which will go out to the ground with a sacred smudge. So I'm just gonna go around the altar now. Not too long because I don't want the fire truck to come. And as for Grace, she was such a kind person. She came to my cafe all the time. We had coffee and tea. We went to country style, hung out. You know, we were always, you know, just having fun. And so anyway, I told Grace, I said, gee, do I ever like that shirt? This one. It's pink. I said, and look at those roses on there, Grace. That's who I am. Rose woman, right? So knowing Grace, she says, Dot, you have to have this shirt. So I said, no, it's your shirt. It looks so beautiful on you to wear, for you to wear. But she wouldn't stop. Finally, there was a bag brought to my house with this shirt in a bag. I said, I didn't know she brought it. And I looked in that bag, and of course, Rose shirt came to Dot, the pink Rose shirt. So today, in honor of Rose, I am wearing this beautiful Rose shirt. Yeah. And you know, I have it at home. I wore it last week. I wore it when I go. I have pink cowboy boots to go. Of course, I had to buy a whole outfit to go with it. But anyhow, yeah, it's very hard for us to let somebody go home. Because we're all going to go home someday. We just don't know when. It's whenever we're supposed to leave here. When your work is done in this human realm, because this is the human realm, the spirit, which we can't see, when we love, when we hate, you know, we can't see that spirit. We can't hold it, it's like the wind. But that's what moves on to the next realm. It's never over. You know, we do our best to be a good human here, and hopefully, you know, we'll get to see our ancestors. Well, I'll get to see Grace again, but I'm not giving her back this shirt. Just so she knows. But anyhow, that's pretty much everything that I wanted to share today. I did smudge Grace's ashes and her all her items there. And this here too will go in the ground along with the water in a clean place. This is how our people, our Anishinaabe people, are starting to learn their culture. I do a lot of culture teachings. I sit as an elder here and there, and at different universities, everywhere. People on Facebook say, Dot, I want my name, Dot, can I come see you, Dot? You know, when people want to learn this, and if you have 1 ounce of Indigenous blood, your spirit will feel it. That's just how it works. I was born and raised in Sturgeon Falls on Railway Street. I don't know if there's anybody older than me here, but my mère lived on Railway Street, and she had a goiter. Madame de Kiss was her name. And she raised me, and I went to school in Sturgeon here, so this is home. You know, I always have a special spot for Sturgeon Falls. So I'd like to thank you for listening to me, for sharing a little bit of my journey with Grace. And I did go and visit her once when she was with Tammy. I just had to go see her because I always worried she was getting older, and I wanted to see her before she left us. So I'm glad I made that trip. So my question, thank you for listening to me. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Dot. Thank you for sharing. It's almost time to start celebrating, the biggest part of our celebration. So we have